Good afternoon. I'm Hanna Cockburn. I'm the Director of Transportation here at the City of Greensboro. And we appreciate everyone's significant interest in this particular incident, but I wanted to provide some context and a quick update on what we had already planned to do in this location and at what we have already completed as of today in this location. So first off, crashes like this are a terrible tragedy. They are impactful to a wide range of interests in our community. And this one hits home for me. My daughter attends this high school. So I not only have a professional interest in solving this problem, I also have a personal one. That being said, we have been working closely with the Guilford County Schools safety staff, as well as our administration at the school, to identify potential engineering solutions that will help reduce the possibility of this happening again. We met on site with those interest groups back in the middle of October and identified a suite of improvements to make within the public right-of-way, in addition to improvements that GCS is considering on their school site in particular. Some of those have already been installed. We had scheduled the installation of some of those materials today, and those have been completed. Additional materials will be installed later, either this week or early next week once fabrication of those is complete. I'm happy to answer any questions about those if you've got specific ones. The other thing I want to make sure that we're communicating is that this cluster of crashes is highly unusual. So we would be paying attention to this because of that nature. But this is part of a larger pattern of an increase in traffic crashes all across the city in 2021, an increase in serious crashes, and an increase in fatal crashes. So far in 2021, we've had 41 traffic fatalities compared to 34 of all of 2020. So this is not unusual to Greensboro. This is happening all across the country. And there's some direct correlation to the ongoing impacts of the pandemic. So there is some context to this that I think is important to share. The other thing I want to elaborate a little bit on is our desire for Greensboro to have a vision of zero fatalities and serious crashes. We are a Vision Zero community, and we really believe it's everyone's responsibility as part of the transportation network to help get everyone home safe at the end of every trip. We actually pulled some data going back to 2016. Up until from 2016 to this year, we had a total of 18 crashes prior to this. Most of those were relatively low grade. We had one serious crash where a vehicle rolled over, and that was in 2018. But nothing like what we've seen in this cluster of the last few months. And that we went back and started doing a little more digging. You know, this school has been in this location for many years. We could not find records that indicated more than one vehicle crash impacting the building prior to this. So we are working closely with the Guilford County Schools safety team to identify a suite of layers of improvements. At this time, because of the physical constraints of this site, if any of you have been there, you recognize that the topography drops off right behind the sidewalk. So we have a limited amount of space to work with in the public right-of-way in particular. So we are collaborating with them, that a whole series of measures are being installed to ensure that it's clear what the traffic pattern requires of the driver, and that in partnership with the county school district, additional measures that would prevent that from impacting the school again are being considered. We actually began our investigation in July after that first crash. If you recall, in July, that crash resulted in a fatality, and we get involved doing crash reconstruction and analysis anytime there is a fatal crash. So this is something we have been working on for a while. It just was an ironic timing that we had scheduled to make these improvements today based on conversations that we had leading up to the event that happened overnight.